Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. This is Sandy, and I've been doing a series that's called the Top 10 Reasons Why You Should Homestead in the City or the Suburbs. And this is number 4 on our countdown. Animals. Have you been to the store lately? Have you seen the prices of meats? A chicken. I used to get a really nice chicken. A lot of times even organic on sale for about $5, $6. They're over $10 for me to get that same organic chicken. Now, what kind of animals can you have in the city or the suburbs? Now, it varies across the country. And you can have a lot of places chickens, hens, no roosters, just because of the noise. You might be able to have bees. You could worm farm. There are places that you can actually have pigs and goats in the city, in different places, in large cities even. So check your local laws, ordinances. Sometimes an HOA will have some things in the suburbs that can, or they might let you and might not. You just have to know the rules and regulations. Now for us, here in our part of Wyoming, we can now have chickens, and I have my bees. They're registered with the state. I have a worm farm. Now there are other things that you might not have thought about. What about fish? Aquaponics. Now before aquaponics was a thing, there was lots of books and information about fish farming. And they would take old stock tanks or old swimming pools, and they would grow fish in there. They were alive. They would have water pumps in them, and now they do aquaponics where it filters the water and it feeds the plants, and so it's this whole ecosystem. But those are options for you. But let's take the two probably easiest ones that most people will be able to do in their homestead in the city or the suburbs. Chickens. Most places will let you have about 6 to 8 chickens depending on the city. They will let you as long as you meet the requirements. You have to have a house for them, a run for them. You want to treat them well because they will treat you well. And then you have to decide, do you want just birds, chickens that are going to lay eggs? Or do you want those as meat birds or dual purpose? If you don't have space for chickens, what about quail? They're much smaller, they lay prolifically, and they make great little eggs too. Some places will let you have ducks or geese, but a lot of places won't just because of the noise. Do you know that the world record, I wrote this down, the world record for a chicken laying eggs was 371 eggs. 371 eggs in 364 days. So that chicken was laying sometimes 2 eggs a day, which is really unusual. Most chickens will around 250 eggs in a year's time. That's a lot of eggs, especially when you look at the price of a dozen eggs in the grocery store right now. How free-ranging you can have in their yard. Maybe you have a chicken tractor. The Vineyard Chicks have a great video on a chicken tractor. I'll put it in a link. Another thing that I didn't mention yet is rabbits. And chicken and rabbits are probably the 2 easiest things to have in your homestead. Do you want the rabbits for meat or just for their poo? Me, I just have them for their poo. Because you can take that manure from a rabbit, put it right on your garden. Where the chicken, you have to let it age because it's so hot. But eventually it makes a great fertilizer for you. When you decide to have animals on your homestead, there's a lot of factors to think about. Are you, or do you have enough time to take care of them? Are you willing to feed them every day? no matter what the weather. If you're going to be gone, do you have somebody that can come give them water, give them feed? Or do you have a system that will feed them over a period of time? These are things to think about. Now, both rabbits and chickens are adorable. Now, if you want your rabbits as meat rabbits, I'm going to share a link right there from His Way Homestead. They have a lot of videos on rabbits, taking care of them, butchering them, having them for meat rabbits. These are all things to consider. And you also have to know if your city or your suburbs allow you to butcher your animals. Some do and some don't. Now, if they don't, maybe you can take them out of town and do it. You might have somebody that has some land or property that you can do it. So doesn't stop you. Now, right now, because we live in two different places, we just have our bees. And I was looking at my rabbit cage the other day, and I thought, I need to get a couple rabbits too. The hard thing about when we go places, that we go in the wintertime, we go to Arizona, who is going to watch over our animals? So we're working on some options for that right now, and I'll let you know about that later on. With whatever animals you have to think about things like the cost of the setup, where they're going to live. Chickens, they need a house, they need a run. Rabbits need a house, bees need a beehive, worms need, well, depending on how you do your worms. Now, I have a worm, basically hotel, and it's different layers, and you put vegetables in there and newspapers, and they just eat their way. Some people put crates in the soil in their garden, and they dump all their vegetable scraps in there, and the worms just eat it, and then they're going in and out in the garden space. These are just options for you. But everything comes with a cost. Everything comes with time. So you have to decide on your homestead, do you want to have animals? Now, if you look at our world right now, I think you really need to consider having animals. Now, some of you that say, I live in an apartment, I can't have any animals. Well, can you have a rabbit in your house? There's plenty of people that literally train their rabbits to go in a litter box. Then you can use that poo in your plants. When you're pulling the weeds around your garden, your chickens and your rabbits will eat that. There's ways to supplement their food so that you can cut those costs. But there's always to do things. And on your homestead, especially in our changing world and our difficult times, consider having animals on your homestead. I think it is a great addition. As always, like, subscribe, share with the world, and I will see you next time.